Hello my lovely people, thank you so much for stopping by and visiting in my kitchen today. Today is Saturday, so today's a little bit of a cheat day, but we're not going to cheat too much. So we're having nachos, and not just any nachos, because y'all know I can't do nothing normal. We're going to have seafood nachos. Some people call it Rotel, some people call it nachos. I call it nachos. So we're going to have seafood nachos. We're going to have some shrimp in it, some imitation crab meat. We're going to make our own salsa / pico de gallo, our own guacamole, and we're going to amplify some sour cream. Not going to take very long at all. You guys stay tuned. Let's get cooking and have some fun on a Saturday. So we're going to start on our seafood rotel, and awesome cheat day, by the way. So these are the ingredients we're going to need. You're going to need about a pound of processed cheese, which would be Veleveeta. The reason that it's white is because we're using the queso blanco Veleveeta because we're having seafood in our rotel, and with us having seafood, white cheese is kind of giving it a little pop. And then also you see there is shredded Colby Jack, sharp cheddar, and also some shredded smoked Gouda. Ooh. And then here you'll see you're gonna need about a pound of imitation crab meat. I use the flake kind, some limes, some tomatoes and onions, avocados because we're gonna make guacamole, bell peppers. I use different colors because I like the color in my food, some cilantro, green onions, and some sour cream, along with about 2 cups of milk of your choice. We're using unsweetened almond milk today, and a pound of shrimp, whatever size shrimp that you like. And of course, we're going to cut and peel and devein those. A pound of shrimp. So these are your ingredients that we're going to need to make our wonderful. Okay, hopefully you can see this, and my camera shot is not very bad. The first thing we're going to do is make our homemade pico de gallo or salsa. I like to blend mine in the food processor after I finish mixing it because it makes it, for me, more dippable without losing everything. And keep in mind that when we're making our rotel, we're going to use some of this salsa in the rotel. So, first thing we're going to do is cut up some of these tomatoes. I use the Roma tomatoes. They have a little bit more flavor. And I use a serrated knife because it cuts tomatoes better. And I'm going to cut up I got 3 here. Probably going to do a 4th one just to be safe. So we're going to cut up the tomatoes first and put those in. And then after we finish cutting up tomatoes, we're going to put in some onions, some bell pepper, and then I'm going to show you how to season it so you have that nice, wonderful salsa taste, pico de gallo taste that you like. So it's going to be awesome. Now, as we're making this homemade salsa / pico de gallo, some of it is going to go into my food processor so that I can make it a little more salsa-like. But some of it I'm going to keep the same exact way. So, and you'll see why when I put it all on the plate. So after I get that all chopped up, and then we're going to add our bell peppers, onions, and then begin on our things that make it taste like salsa. As you can see, we've cut up our tomatoes. We used about 4.5 Roma tomatoes, nice and firm ones, not too firm to where they seem like not right, but just firm enough. We've put in our red and green bell peppers and some purple onions. We're going to set that to the side. Not make a mess. We're going to set that to the side. Now, what we have here is some fresh cilantro. Cilantro is what kind of gives the salsa or the pico de gallo that taste that you're looking for when you're tasting it. Now, with cilantro, my husband is one of those. Cilantro can be a bit strong, so if you're heavy-handed with it, you got to be careful. But usually about this much, get in front, just about this much, a few twigs. What I have in my hand, I have about 7 twigs of cilantro in my hand. Just a few twigs actually does the job. for what you're trying to do. So we're going to take that cilantro and we're going to cut it up. So my husband is, as I was saying, my husband, he's always complaining about stuff that's a little too strong. And he doesn't realize that cilantro really is good for you. So even though he's, oh, you did a good job putting lighter in there this time. No, I didn't. I put the same amount as usual. But just make him think that. So anyway, so we're cut up the cilantro a little. Let's give it a little. And make sure, I'm sorry I didn't show you on camera, but make sure that when you pick up your cilantro from the store, it's gonna have some dirt on it. So make sure you rinse it off really, really well before you use it, because you don't want your stuff to be all grainy because of the dirt. So we're gonna put that cilantro in the bowl. And I'm sorry. And then the next thing that you put in your pico de gallo / salsa that we're gonna blend a little bit is a lime. Okay, now there are two ways that you can get the juice out of a lime. You can use this little tool here. What you usually do, people, it's funny because a lot of people don't realize sometimes when you're putting the lemon or lime in this way, that's really the wrong way. The best way to get all of the juice out is to turn it over. And you can use one of those and put it in, and then you can just squeeze it right in. It goes right in, and see, if you turn it over, you get all the juice. See, none left. It's all gone. It's flat. Now, you can do it that way. You can use your hands, or you can use this handy little tool. It's called a citrus reamer. Now, I'm going to try to get the camera in close so you can see how I use it. And I'm sorry, I'm going to show here. You see here where we have our lime and we have our reamer. So you take it and you put it in, and then you just swish it around just like that. And as you swish it around, all of the juice comes out. Okay, all of the juice comes out. You get it all, and then you squeeze it one time after you finish. You're done. No more juice. It's all in there. So you just need one lime for this. Then we're going to stir it around, and then we'll be ready to finish it off with some seasonings. Okay. Now, we're just stirring that around. Get all of those flavors married together. The rule of thumb, if you have the slightest little cut, even a paper cut or anything on your hand, use some thin plastic gloves. They sell cooking gloves at any grocery store. Because if the lime or the lemon gets on your hands, what's going to happen is you're going to feel a burn unintentionally. So now we're going to sprinkle a little sea salt and sugar on, sugar, Lord have mercy. A little sea salt and pepper. I use about 3 to 4 pinches of sea salt because you don't need much. And pepper. And 2 shots of pepper, 2 pinches of pepper, because again, I have to be careful with my husband. And then I'm going to show you something special. A couple of ingredients that I forgot. Now what I usually do, you don't have to do this, but what I usually do is I just take a little hot sauce, about 3-4 splashes, put it in there. Was that 4 or was that 5? It probably was 5, knowing me. And then you're going to take a little white wine vinegar, and then just not even a 1/4 cup, about 1/8 of a cup, just maybe a few tablespoons, and then you stir all of that around. Now what you're going to do is you can actually leave this just like this, or you can put it in a food processor or even a blender and blend it so it's a little smoother and has more of that little salsa kind of thing that you can dip. So what you're going to do is we're going to make us some guacamole. So we're going to set this bowl to the side so that those flavors can kind of marry each other. Now, here's our bowl for our guacamole. What we're going to do is I have 2 avocados. Okay, now, so we're going to get started on our guacamole. I've already wiped down our cutting board just in case, make sure I didn't get anything extra on there. Now I have 2 avocados. Now you can actually go to the store and buy seasoning for for guacamole. I prefer to do it myself, but there's nothing wrong with going and buy the seasoning. You can actually buy seasoning to go in the salsa as well, but again, I prefer to do it myself. So, and it's usually on the aisle where you see like the slow cooker seasoning seeds of the avocados. Now, good way to get an avocado cut. It's already cut in half. So then you're going to turn that avocado over and slice it down the middle of the back. When you do that, you can take that skin and just peel it off. Makes it easy peasy. And you're not struggling to scoop all the avocado out of the peel, see? So we're just going to cut those in half. Be careful of the seed and the stem. And you're just going to peel that off just like that. And that's how we're going to get our avocado ready for our guacamole. Now, you can use them very quick. Okay, so now we're going to take that and we're going to get us a fork and mash that up. Okay, so now we've taken that avocado and we've mashed it up with a fork. Started to mash it up, so that's why you want your avocados kind of soft. You don't want them firm because then you can't do this. So you want them kind of soft. Now what I do, some people use mayonnaise. I don't. I prefer, to use some, I don't know if you can see that, Dijon mustard. Just a couple of squirts of the Dijon mustard gives it a beautiful creamy taste. Okay. Then I put some salt and pepper and a little smoked paprika in here as well. That's my smoked paprika. It looks like that one's out. I gotta grab another. So put a little salt, pepper, and smoked paprika in here. And paprika. Stir that in. And then we're gonna take a half of a lime. The lime juice will keep it from browning really quickly. So we're gonna use a half of a lime and squeeze that over in there. And you can put onion, tomato, cilantro, all of that. It's okay to experiment with your food, guys. Remember that. It is so okay to do that. You know, it's okay to take something and put something crazy in it and see if it works out. You know, that's how I fell in love with food, because I use some of the craziest stuff sometimes. My husband makes fun of me. He said, nobody cooks like you. And people don't eat like you. I'm like, whatever, man. So, but yeah, so it's okay to experiment. So you can put, if you like your guacamole a little chunky, you can put some onions and bell peppers and all of that in there. You can put a little cilantro in there. But because I put cilantro in my salsa, I'm not going to put it in my guacamole because we actually love the smoother ones, the smoother guacamole. So you put your lime in there. And guess what? You're done. Your guacamole is good to go. Now I'm going to teach you a little trick. Remember that little seed we popped out of the avocado? Look, drop that down in there and just leave it. And if you put that in the refrigerator, as a matter of fact, if you put it in some Tupperware and put it in the refrigerator, the guacamole won't go brown really fast. I don't know why that happens, but it does. But the guacamole won't go brown fast because for whatever reason, when that seed is in there, it thinks it's still in the skin. It's weird, but it works. We're gonna set this to the side because now it's time to work. Now we're just gonna divert for a quick minute and show you how to amplify this sour cream. We're gonna take a little chopped cilantro, some dried onions, a little salt and a little sea salt and pepper, and I put a little bit of the everything but the bagel seasoning. Squeeze in a little lime juice and stir really, really well. And after you stir it really well, it has this beautiful, beautiful creamy look, and it has flecks of the flavor just showing through. You're gonna love it. And then if you want to give it a little extra oomph like I do, just add a little chili lime seasoning. Give it just a little tap. And then that is going to be our amplified sour cream. And it's going to be good. So I'm now just finishing up all of my little side condiments to go with everything. And so the salsa that we put together, we put some in a bowl, some of the pico de gallo in a bowl. to put as a garnish. And then we put the rest of it, I put the rest of it in my Ninja processor. Pulsed it a few times, and now I have me some beautiful chunky blender out of the way. And now we have our nice beautiful chunky salsa. And you always want to taste a little bit because you want to make sure it tastes exactly like you like it. And I'm going to take a little taste. And mine's is perfect. Just enough salt and pepper. Alrighty, and there's our salsa. Okay, so now we have our shrimp that we've already washed. We peeled, washed, deveined, seasoned with a little chili lime seasoning and some dried onions. And then we've cut up a few onions in this. And we're sauteing it, and it only takes shrimp a couple of minutes. You don't want it to get tough, so you only want to mix it around a couple minutes. Then we're going to put we put our imitation crab meat in with it, sauteed it a little bit so that it can get some of that flavor. So we're going to take this off the burner and set it to the side so we can get our cheese ready. Since the burner is already hot, just set it on there, put it on about medium high. We've already cut up the cheese, the processed cheese, the Veleveeta, so to speak, and put it in the bottom of the pan. You want to make sure your pan is kind of deep, or either use a pot because you don't want it, bubbling and splashing over everywhere. You're going to take our milk and go ahead and pour it over. Like I said, about 2 cups, 1 3/4, over about a pound of the cheese should do it. And the reason you're using so much milk, and I'm using my trusty spoon, and the reason that you're using so much milk is not because you are trying to make it soupy, but because you're going to add some other cheeses to this. And you want to make sure that it's all creamy so that it doesn't get all clumpy. You want to make sure all of this is nice and creamy. As you can see, I put just a little cilantro, and I don't know if you can see that. I put a little bit of cilantro in the bottom of the pan, also with the cheese, so that it can kind of marry a little bit. It's going to give it a beautiful flavor. Homemade salsa that you made, and pour that in to your cheese. Now, of course, most people when they're making Rotel, they use the Rotel tomatoes and chili peppers in the can. But there's more than one way to make it. Everybody just still calls it Rotel. So you're gonna put that in there so it starts to marry. And you see you still got your chunks of your tomato and everything. Because when you blend your salsa in your food processor, you don't blend it all the way down. You kind of blend it to where it's still chunky a little bit, but it's a little smoother. And so now that the cheese is starting to melt, I'm going to cut that down a little bit. My shrimp, I'm going to take, and my crab meat, and pour that over into the cheese. Okay, now we're just going to let all that blend together, and it will be all good and melted together in a few minutes, and ready to go. Cheese is melted, all nice and melty. So now we're going to take all of our shredded cheese that we had. We had that sharp cheddar and that Gouda and a little Colby Jack that we shredded up all together. And we're going to put that all in here with it. We want it nice and cheesy. And again, it's not that bad for you. You got seafood instead of beef or pork. You got the white cheeses, which are a little better for you. And I will give you all of those little calories. I think it's like 75 calories a serving with the cheese. And I think after you finish it, and if you get a serving, not like a whole lot like I would do, because I'm out of control with cheese sometimes, but if you get a serving of this on top of your tortilla chips, it ends up being like 130 calories for one meal. Isn't that wonderful? So, you see where the cheese melted right away. So now we have some tortilla chips toasting in the oven because I like mine a little toasted. So we have them toasted in the oven. We're going to, this is ready to go. We're going to make us some hot biscuits. Alrighty everybody, so there we have it. We've made a quick, delicious meal for our cheat day on Saturday. That's not too much of a cheat. We have our seafood rotel slash nachos. We made it with shrimp and imitation crab meat. Made our own pico de gallo and salsa. Made our own guacamole, and we amplified our sour cream. And it is heavenly good. We even had time to make some hibiscus tea to go with it. So good. So give this a try. I promise you, you're gonna love it. Won't be disappointed. If you like what you see, you like the video, hit like on one of these sides, hit subscribe, and you'll get notified every time we do a video. We try to put them in as often as possible, or I try to upload them as often as possible. It's really good, you guys. I try to upload them as often as possible. So we're still kind of new to this, so help us out. Subscribe, I think, is on this side. Like is on this side, or it may be vice versa. Either way it go, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by and in being in our kitchen with us today and having our kitchen experience. I love you. You guys have a beautiful evening, and remember always that Mama's gonna take care of you when it comes to this food, okay? Mama's always got your back. Thank you for stopping by, and have a lovely evening. Happy cooking.